What's up, friends? Welcome to Mom's Kitchen. Mom's not around right now. I'm going to show you what happens in the Manzo house. It's usually something that happens if you're hungover or if you're getting home after a late night. This is true Manzo style comfort food, okay? I feel like you might be used to my mom and her, what you're gonna need, give me this, give me that, be careful of that. This is a little bit more shoot from the hip style of cooking. Again, normally you're not doing this in a sober state of mind. In fact, I don't know that I ever have. So let's see how this turns out. First thing we're gonna do is make sure this pan is nice and hot. By the way, we're making you a grilled mortadella and cheese. You could do this with bologna if you're lame. You could do this with mortadella. You could do it with really any cold cut you wanna do it. Mortadella is the answer, absolutely. Couple simple steps. I like to use American cheese with this. I love the way it melts. I also think that American cheese is the most underrated piece of dairy that the whole land has to offer, okay? White bread, American cheese. Right now you're just making a grilled cheese. Mortadella, again, not too crazy. Now you wanna make sure that you're getting the, here's the other thing. I really can't give the explanation the way a cook might do. I don't like to clean at all. So what you have here is a jar and a plastic fork. I put a little basil oil inside the jar with some mayo, mix it up to make it look like when it looks like ranch, that's how you know it's done, okay? So now this is a very important part of the process. You wanna take your bar rag and you wanna wipe the end of it there, and then what you're gonna do is scoop it, throw that on the bread, and just give it a nice little wipe. Make sure it's nice and covered. Smear it. You want it to be covered up. This is going to be the base of the bread. It's going to give it a lot of the moisture it needs to A, not stick to the pan, and B, this is like how you would see butter used in a pan or on a grilled cheese to make sure, again, that it's not sticky and you're getting that kind of creaminess and moisture that you want to get out of the sandwich. A lot of people do butter for this. That's not the wrong answer. The main reason I prefer mayo over butter in this case is that it burns slower. So there's nothing I love more than basil. I would put basil on basil if it were an option. So that's the reason that I like to do a basil mayonnaise. I think it complements the mortadella as well too. This is the part, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if it matters or not. I like to do it because when people are watching, like, this kid knows what the hell he's doing. That's sincerely why I'm doing this. This is why I do it. And I like to be a little different. I like to zig when others zag. So what do? I take the American cheese. Also, I like to cook. Like, I like to really take my time cooking. I like to really kind of enjoy it. I don't really do it to like get it out of the way. So the more steps, the better for me. So I like to rip this up and you're gonna see why. We're not really gonna do it like a grilled cheese the way you might do it, you know, growing up. It's gonna be a little bit more of like a street style kind of preparation. So we're gonna rip up this cheese so it's nice and it's thin. And we're gonna try not to make it too clumpy. Here's the other part. We're balling on a budget over here. So usually my mom's here. She's out here buying groceries. If Chris is buying groceries, we're getting the fuck we got. Okay, this sandwich was the same thing but cold yesterday. That's what I had for lunch. Dinner, same thing but hot. That's how we do it. So, make sure the pan's nice and hot. It absolutely should be. It's on a low heat because this is all we got. So if we overcook it, we're beat, right? So first thing we're gonna do, I don't like to hit the sound test there. We're gonna raise the heat a little bit. You can see that mortadella starting to fry. And the cheese is a lot more sensitive, so you want to do that last. So then what we're going to do then, we get a handful of cheese. We're moving the whole operation over here now. Woohoo! Putting the bread down. Throwing the cheese down. I use my hands because I'm a lunatic. You should definitely use a spatula or some tongs. Here's the tricky part. That's not tricky at all. We're going to take the tiniest bit of water. Once we feel like the flame is on, kind of mix it all together like that. Okay, little mess. Get the lid, a little bit of water, and you want to let that steam until you get nervous that you might be making a mistake. Again, I don't have timing down. It's not my thing. I cook because I like to experiment. I like to learn. The worst case, it doesn't taste good and you got to do it again. And that is what we call a lesson in life. So now you see it steaming, kind of building all together, right? Just kind of be ready to pick it up. I got a little more moisture than I was hoping to get with the cheese. This will really mess your pan up if you don't pay a lot of attention to it. Nothing you can't clean. Just make sure it doesn't get too stuck there. you see this all getting together and getting messy, that's when we're gonna take our bread, flip it upside down, take all the favorite parts here. Again, don't use your hands. Don't be like me. Do as I say, not as I do. Take this here, pour that on there. I'm making a mess. Now you have what you want out of the sandwich. All we're gonna do from here is make sure the bread gets crispy. There's nothing like a bar rag in this world. I don't want to waste too much of this, but whatever. Get it cleaned up real quick, just to make sure that you can give it a clean surface. Now you want this to get hot, because you're really not cooking anything at all. Now, the mortadella cooked, the cheese cooked. So you just want this to get hot again. You don't need oil or anything, because again, that's why we did the whole thing in the first place. I'm letting this just rest right on the cheese. Melt the cheese on there. This is never going to end up in a meal prep program, so we're not worried about it resting and melt the cheese. The first ingredient is mayo, the second ingredient is bread. So if you're looking for health, she does other stuff for that. Go to the vegetable sheet pan page if you want. I'm a nervous wreck. I always think things are gonna stick, so I'll probably keep playing with the sandwich for a little longer than I should. So here's what I'm gonna do now. Once it hurts, you know you're good. But you shouldn't do that. It doesn't hurt yet. See that? See the finger? When you do that, that's how you know it hurts. When you say ouch. So now you hear that right there. We love that sound. We're gonna let that stay like that for a quick second. So now we're looking a little better. We're gonna flip it. You see the surface just a little bit harder. A little bit harder there. That's when I like to press. I don't know what I call that. I call it a
bacon press.
We call it a bacon press. It says bacon press on it. So I probably could have pieced that together, but the idea here is to smash it. It's gotta be thin, it's gotta be crispy, and the bacon press is gonna help you with that. Little fun fact about the bacon press. If you're not in the industry, you're not gonna know these types of things. Known to press bacon. That's what it's there for. You wanna press bacon, you want it sharp, flat, that's what you're gonna do. So now you see how it's coming together? The cheese is starting to change. And now all we're gonna do is let that crisp up. Once you start to see the cheese kind of mold, probably not the best word, harden, we're gonna flip it over, press it again, so this gets the same brown, the same kind of well done exterior as the other side. All right, if you don't have it, the idea really came from my mom. Used to make me because of her grandmother when we were young or sick or whatever. She would make us grilled cheese with a clothing iron because it was nice and heavy and hot. Look at that shit.
Now you're talking.
So that's how you know you want it to look that way. Personally, I don't care if it gets a little more burnt. But once you start to see it kind of emulsify, you start to see it get a little darker there, you have to realize I'm trying to show you this so it's not going to be as hot. If you get a brick and wrap it in tin foil, I think this is crazy important. Some people like a fluffy grilled cheese, good for them. I don't. I like it to be a little thin, I like it to be a little crispy, I like it to be hot. Almost like a panini. So you get a brick, you get, for real, if you want to have fun with it and make your kids laugh, get a clothing iron, press that shit down, and that's how we're making this sandwich. This also, like I'm presenting it to you as like a hungover, you get home from the night out and make it sandwich. This is also great in the morning. You want to serve it with like an egg, fresh egg over, a fried egg on top. Or if you're having a party, you want to make a bunch of them and don't want to worry about shit, you cut them in little cubes with a toothpick. Easiest thing in the world. Everyone loves you for it. Look at that cheese. I'm going to let cameraman get that cheese knocked out. Look at that. Flip it one more time. Press it. Again, I like it more well done. This is ready right now. If you want to eat it, the minute you think it looks good, it's not like, this can't get you sick, right? So the minute you think it looks good, I had it with all raw ingredients yesterday. So you eat it when you decide it looks fine. There is no amount of time. Temperature is really based on, like, I'm not the guy, right? I look at things based on how they sound, smell, hear. This is the reason I'm not doing this show. Again, millionth time, I touch it, you probably shouldn't. Let's see if we're finished here. And I'll typically do this with like, just some kind of fried potato. If you want to give me some potatoes, if you want to give me some French fries, anything really on the side. Whatever you would do with a grilled cheese, same exact thing. A potato salad is really, really good with it. Macaroni salad, something like that. Again, I'm doing this on a budget, right? No cheese, no mortadella, just taking what we got in the house, and you created yourself a fine little sandwich. Best in the world. My favorite thing in the world. So kids, fried mortadella and cheese, fried bologna and cheese is honestly just as good. I love bologna. I was kidding before. Nice, thin, easy. You could do it in 5 minutes. Press it. My dad's gonna show you a fancy version of something similar to this in just a few minutes.